July 9th, 1995 was a typical summer evening in Alma, Arkansas. Families gathered at a Little League baseball game at Wofford Field. Lawn chairs lined the fence, children chased each other in the grass. And 6-year-old Morgan Nick was there with her mom. She asked if she could go play. Her mother, Colleen, said yes. It's a decision she has revisited in her mind for more than 30 years.
Underwear, alcohol, syphilis, murder, forbidden. I think I know where this one's headed. It
Yeah, you
doesn't look
think? Yes. Well, I'm wondering if you know about this because Alma, Arkansas is actually like on I-4, right off of I-40, and it's only like 20 minutes or so from the Oklahoma border.
good.
So this happened in 1995. I know I was in college then, and I remember this happening like back in 1995. It was my first summer of college. And this happened so close to Fayetteville because basically Fayetteville is about 40 minutes or so north of there. And so it's closer to the Oklahoma border actually than it is Fayetteville, but I distinctly remember this happening back in 1995.
Interesting. It doesn't ring a bell yet. I would have been around 13,
Mhm.
but maybe as you get going, it'll jog something.
Yes, you young little pup, you.
Not anymore, Amanda. I think we're both old now.
We
You're
are.
just a little older.
Yeah, just a little.
Um, so it's been a while since we've chatted. It's been a couple weeks. What have you been up to?
I know. Well, I've just been still, recovering from my dad's passing and stuff like that. But it's getting better. And, just kind of planning for his memorial and stuff. And just been working. But this past weekend was really nice. I went out to this new Italian restaurant that was really, really good, that just opened in a courtyard area of a boutique hotel that's about a street away from where we are.
Hmm.
I think we should come. We should go there maybe whenever you come to see me in May.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. And then on Saturday, I went to the Mondrian, and they have a beautiful restaurant by the water, so you can get the sunset views from there and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all I've been doing and working,
Sounds
sleeping a
lovely.
lot, doing
Yeah.
research on this. Yes, research for the podcast. But I don't ever forget the podcast. It's always top of mind, of course.
Yes, exactly. More important than other things such as work.
And what about you? Pray tell.
Um,
I've been doing this past week.
I've been traveling.
Aye.
So we had, I work for a professional fundraiser. We raise money for a bunch of different charities. But we just had one of our events, closed out one of our events, I should say. We raised $3.2 million for Starlight Children's Foundation.
Oh, that's amazing.
And yeah, it was one of my favorites. It's a horror themed, like Halloween themed
Okay.
fundraiser.
I think
So
you were talking about this a couple months ago when the fundraiser was actually happening and people were submitting their, whatever for it.
yeah, yeah. So the competition's been closed for a while. It's a competition that raises money for Starlight Children's Foundation, and so we just had the final event from that campaign. So we had to fly out to LA. Had to. We got to. This was fun.
I was about to say, at least you weren't going to the East Coast with all the snow.
No, it was actually like in the 50s and rainy, so it was like not comfortable really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't complain too much. But we had an event at the Children's Hospital LA with Jamie Lee Curtis. So we got to
Awesome.
do a little meet and greet with her. We got to do a tour of the hospital. They took us up to the helipad, and we
Oh,
got
that's so cool.
yeah, it was cool, like cool views of the city, the Hollywood sign, and then downtown LA, and it was a lot of fun. And then I had an interview with Matthew Lillard from Scream and
Hmm.
Scooby Doo and SLC
I
Punk.
sat by him once in Las Vegas when I was at a restaurant.
Really?
That was, like, around his probably Scream or Scream 2 at least. It was I mean, it had to have been around 1999, 2000, something like that. I was at
Mhm.
the Pink Taco. There's a restaurant called the Pink Taco at the Hard Rock, and, I think I was going to a show there that night, or I was there with friends or something, but he was at the table right next to us. He's really cute.
Yeah, he still looks great and, super friendly. Jamie Lee Curtis was awesome too. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So,
That's very cool.
it was
Very,
like 3
very
or
cool.
4 days of a lot of work. Um,
Yeah. Well, and you have to be on the whole time while
yes,
you're there. That's the
it was
thing.
draining. I also did go dancing. We had dinner by the Abbey in West
Mhm.
Hollywood,
Yeah.
and I haven't been to the Abbey since I lived there, probably 2008, maybe 2009. So, we went to the Abbey, and it was like a Tuesday night, and it was pretty quiet, but they were playing all 80s music. Um,
Nice.
so we went dancing at the Abbey for probably way too long. Um, but I thought of you, they were playing the best music. Like, not
Oh,
just top 40, but like they did some deep cuts. It
yeah.
was New
I
Order,
love
Depeche
that.
Mode, etc.
Ugh, I love it. I You guys really know how to do a club. I will say that.
Sure do.
The Abbey. I love it. I've never been to the Abbey. I've been to LA so many times, and I've mainly been there, though, just for, like, short weekends or going to shows or something like that.
Yeah.
Not so much to, like, go out to, like, I never had a reason to go to the Abbey. I would
Yeah.
love to have a reason to go to the Abbey, so you and I should go to LA together
I was just
sometime.
about to say we should do that. I actually have to go back to LA 2 more times in March. So I have to go. We're
Oh, wow.
filming with Jeff Goldblum and his wife Emily and Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen, and then another couple who I'm waiting on signatures from, so I can't share it yet. But
Oh, well,
yeah, that'll be fun.
sounds like a very eventful March that you have.
Yes.
Yes,
But enough about us, Amanda. Shall I intro us?
absolutely.
Well, let me get the intro ready because I don't have it. I rolled right in
Always
from.
so unprepared.
I
I'm kidding.
always am. Um,
If I can count on one thing, it's for you to be unprepared.
if I can count on one thing, it's to not be able to count on you. Welcome to Forbidden, the podcast where we discuss the dark, the disgusting, and the disgraceful in our unmentionables. We have slipped into something more comfortable. Have a drink in hand. Listener, viewer, we hope you are doing the same. I am your co host, Blake Roberts.
And I'm Amanda Kamada.
Some cases seem to lack all reason, others are missing just one key piece of evidence. But all of these stories have one common element: someone has gone missing. Welcome to our limited series, Vanished.
And before I get started this evening, I will go ahead and name my sources. They are the MorganNickFoundation.com, missingkids.org, KATV.com, which is a Little Rock news station, the National Missing and Unidentified Person System, and the AP News. So each year in the United States, and we talked about this on the last
Right.
episode, that I would pull some numbers. So each year in the United States, about 600,000 people go missing every year
Wow.
in the US, but the vast majority are found quickly and safely. Many reports involve, like runaways, teens who later reappear and return home. Some could be custodial disputes, like if a parent takes their kid away, illegally because they're supposed to be sharing custody or those sorts of things. So those custodial disputes can happen. There are people who voluntarily leave or relocate without notifying someone. And you kind of touched on that in the last episode, where people will go camping or to the mountains or those places and
Off
just
the
kind of
grid.
fall off the grid. Exactly.
Yeah.
And others whose missing reports are resolved quickly. Now, on any given day, there are approximately 80 to 90,000 active missing person cases still open in law enforcement
Mm.
databases. Missing person doesn't automatically mean a dangerous situation. Most people reported missing, especially adults, are found or returned home after being shortly after being reported. Only a small percentage of missing persons involve abductions by strangers or remain unexplained long term. And this is one of those. This is the story about the disappearance of Morgan Nick in 1995. So her mother, Colleen, remembers the details very vividly, not because they were extraordinary, but because they were ordinary. And this is an excerpt from an interview with her mom, Colleen. Quote, "It was just a normal Friday night. We were watching baseball. Morgan wanted to go catch lightning bugs, or fireflies, some
Mm-hmm.
people call them, with two little girls. I could see them from where I was sitting. I wasn't worried. I had no reason to be." End quote. Morgan was wearing a green Girl Scout shirt and denim shorts, and she had long blonde hair. 15 minutes later, after her mother told her she could go play, she was gone. Her mom said, "When I realized I couldn't see her, I stood up. At first, I wasn't panicked. I just thought she'd wander a little farther than I expected. But then I couldn't find her anywhere. And I knew. I don't know how I knew, but I knew something was wrong." The two little girls who had been playing with Morgan told investigators about a man near a red pickup truck with a white camper shell. They said they made them uncomfortable, so they ran back toward the field. Morgan didn't. She stayed behind. But
Oh,
yeah, and keep in mind that this is at a children's like little league baseball game. Like you can I'm sure there was like maybe it said it was a park, so maybe there were more than one, fields or something like that on it. But in all of this happening, no one reported hearing a scream. No confirmed witnesses saw her being forced into a vehicle, and in a crowded park, she just disappeared silently. The search efforts began immediately. The parking lot was checked, cars were stopped. Officers went door to door in Alma, which has a population of around 6,000 or so, and surrounding areas of northwest Arkansas. Talk about Alma again. It's, on Interstate 40. So very close to being an exit city or town, I guess I should say, because that's what it is. And within an hour or 20 minutes or so, you can be in either the Missouri or Oklahoma border, if you think about it, with regards to where this is located. So her mom said that first night you don't sleep. You're waiting for the phone to ring. You're waiting for someone to knock on the door and say there's been a mistake. I kept thinking she's going to walk in. This is going to be over. But morning kept coming without answers, and then another morning and another. As weeks turned into months, the search shifted from immediate rescue to a long term investigation. Her mom's role shifted too. She's become an advocate and eventually founded the Morgan Nick Foundation to help families navigating the nightmare she was living. She said, "People talk about closure. I don't even know what that means. When you don't know where your child is, there is no end point. There's just waiting." So, years after this happened, investigators identified a suspect. His name was Billy Jack Lynx. He drove a red pickup truck with a white camper shell, fitting the general description that was given. He lived in the region and had access to the Alma area. He was an aviation enthusiast and former military serviceman who flew small aircraft. So there's another kind of thing in it, is that this is a guy, he drives a red pickup truck with the camper shell that was sort of described by the kids who were last with her. But he also had access to an airplane, which is quite crazy. Why investigators considered this? Obviously, he had access to a private airstrip. Some early theories suggested Morgan could have been quickly transported out of the area. His ability to fly raised concerns about mobility and opportunity. In 1995, they actually did speak with him. He denied involvement. He acknowledged, though, that he had been in the general area, but no physical evidence at the time tied him directly to Morgan. So at the time, there wasn't enough to charge him.
Mm.
However, in 1998, he was accused of attempting to lure a child into his vehicle. The girl reported he tried to persuade her to get into his truck. She was able to get away and report the incident. Authorities arrested and prosecuted him, and he was convicted and sent to prison. It's so this conviction is significant because it demonstrated a documented pattern of attempting to approach or lure a child. It occurred just a few years after Morgan Nick disappeared in Alma. And the method, him trying to get the child into the vehicle, mirrors almost exactly what was said, that they believed may have happened in the case. But
Yeah.
he died in prison in the year 2000.
Okay. I was gonna say, well, that's a bummer. I was gonna say, even if that second event hadn't occurred in a town of just 6,000 people, if then how many red pickup trucks with a white
Camper
camper
shell.
shell? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, probably
Yeah.
not that many. So, I mean, even as far as circumstantial evidence goes, that's pretty compelling on its own.
Yeah.
But well, so okay, continue.
So they questioned him in 1995. In 1998, 99, he went to prison for trying to abduct that other girl, and he died in prison in the year 2000. However, in 2021, DNA testing linked a hair found in his vehicle to Morgan. But since he was dead, no charges were ever filed in that case. So, because there were no charges ever filed, like it was 2021 before they linked the DNA to him. So, the location was never disclosed. Morgan has never been found. She would now be in her late 30s, but in photographs, she remains 6.
Mm.
So, if you were in Alma, Arkansas on June 9th of 1995, if you remember a red pickup truck near Little League Field, if you've just ever dismissed a memory because it felt too small, investigators are continuing to accept tips in her case.
Mm.
So, as far as her family is concerned, the story is not over. So, you can basically get more information about Morgan Nick and the case itself on www.morgannickfoundation.com. Or if you have any tips or anything, you can call 877-543-HOPE.
It's so crazy to. I think everyone is just so used to like cameras being everywhere, right?
Mhm.
To think
Mhm.
to me, 1995 wasn't that long ago, but I guess really it was over
30
30
years
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
And technology then isn't what it is now. So, and especially in a small town like Alma,
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna have any technology at their baseball field, I'm quite sure. They probably still don't today, quite frankly.
probably,
They probably have lights.
yeah,
Or I don't know, maybe they do have cameras because that's where she went missing, and maybe the foundation or
yeah.
something may have put some up or something like that, but
Maybe they don't even have lights. Maybe they only have fireflies.
I love fireflies.
I do too.
That story, like, creeps me out because I could see myself as a
Hmm.
kid going and playing fire with fireflies, like, out in a field somewhere. My parents aren't right beside me because it's the '80s, and, like, God knows that there was no parental observations back then.
Yeah, I mean, even to this day, fireflies are still nostalgic for me. We go up to Erie, Pennsylvania every summer,
Mhm.
and we don't have fireflies here. I think there are parts of Arizona that are
I bet there are parts of Florida that probably have them. I bet it's further north. I think it's too warm for them here.
yeah. I here in Arizona there are parts I've looked it up actually further east, like in the mountains where they can get fireflies. But yeah, it's the only time of year I really get to see them is if we go out in early to midsummer.
Mhm.
Um, and it still feels nostalgic, and I love it. I love fireflies.
Yeah. Yeah. Fireflies always make me think of Arkansas,
Yeah,
like being at my grandparents' house, like being out on their farm because they're like They were, like, all over the place, and we would catch them and put them in jars, with, like, air things punched
Uh-huh.
out of it and
Yeah.
stuff like that, so you could see them glow in the jar.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's probably not proper to do because 'cause
Well, as
you're
long as you let
slowly
them out.
killing them. Yes.
Um, yeah, so I guess, like, best case scenario for Morgan is probably best case is that she was trafficked
I
and
know.
still out there
I
somewhere.
guess that's what I wanna circle back to also is what makes this case so fascinating is that he did have access to planes.
Yes.
And so, no wonder she's never been found, and that's, like, the first thing I thought too, like, I was like, "Oh my god, was she trafficked or something like that?"
Yeah, maybe
I
she
mean,
ended up
perhaps he was gonna traffic this other girl too that he kept
right.
tried to kidnap, you know?
Yeah, he could have been flying them out to some like, a particular island
Mhm.
owned by a
Mhm.
particular person.
Owned by a particular billionaire
Mhm.
who supposedly committed suicide?
Correct. Yes. That's
Okay.
the one. Yeah.
But, you think about that and, like, the Jeffrey Epstein stuff is so wild. You can't grasp it, and I finished that book, that Virginia, Giffrey or Jeffrey or however you
Dupre,
say
I think
Jeffrey.
yeah.
Yeah, I read that book, and, I mean, it was just, so unbelievable that, like, I'm like, "Oh my god, maybe he did that. Maybe he trafficked or, to Mexico or something like that." I mean, it wouldn't be that far to get from Arkansas to Mexico, like, on a little plane, I
Yeah,
don't think.
yeah.
Or, I mean, fuck, he coulda trafficked her to Dallas even or something, I mean, just so quickly. Um, but
It's
no,
still
her
crazy.
her body has never been found, she's never been found. The only thing is they linked that DNA in his car to it, but, I mean, but where is she?
Right.
She could have been, like, sold to somebody and raised as their own child or something
Mhm.
like that. You
Or
know what I
kept him,
mean?
like, locked in a basement or something, like, these things happen.
I know.
What's crazy is some of the wilder places where your mind goes, like, that's" it just starts to feel like a conspiracy theory, but there's so many things being revealed right now that
Mhm.
are happening around the world that even, like, the wildest conspiracy theories are like, "Oh, well, that actually has happened before, and it actually is plausible."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hopefully, she is out there somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I just feel for her family. I mean, 30
Yeah,
plus years of not knowing where your child went, and if she's alive or is she dead? Is she okay? Is she not? I mean, it kind of reminds me, or not reminds me, but it makes me think of that story that I did about the Elizabeth gal who was held for 20 something years
yeah.
or wasn't it was quite a number of years that she was held underneath like in a bunker
Was that in
underneath her
France?
house. I think it was in Austria or something like
Austria,
that.
yes.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
good episode.
that was. I think that was our 2nd on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe right. I feel like it was
Elizabeth Fritzl.
Elizabeth
That was her
Fritzl.
n
It was
yeah.
early. I think that was the 2nd episode that we posted on YouTube.
So go back and find that, folks.
Check
That's a
it
good
out.
story if you like, well, there's a vanished component to it, let's just say.
Yeah,
But yeah, just really sad, but, sort of like the story that you did last week, it seems like her family has really done sort of the same thing as that guy's family has done, trying to keep their name out there, creating a foundation.
mhm,
Morgan Nick Foundation, like, does, like, programs, like, for safety, like, intervention programs, and safety educational programs and stuff like that. So they help people who have missing children or missing loved ones. They try to educate children, and people on how to avoid those situations. And then they've been involved with creating legislation as well.
Mm.
So very active in keeping her story out there.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad to hear, but it's good to. I mean, I guess same as the last episode. Just the if you can call it a bright spot, even is the fact that they're trying to take this horrible situation and help others through it. Is it?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, that was an interesting story. A total bummer. I'm gonna have to look up Alma on a map now because I'm sure I've driven right through it.
Mhm. I bet you have.
I wonder if they had a Taco Bueno where I stopped to eat food.
They don't have much there from what I can recall. It was almost like the last place where you stopped for gas before you went up to Fayetteville. Do you know what I mean? Like now there's a high or like a interstate type of highway that goes up to Fayetteville, but when I was in school, there wasn't.
Mm,
And so there were one of two ways that you could go. And they were both very dangerous, very curvy roads and
mm.
stuff like that, and didn't have a lot of gas stations and stuff on it. So it was just like, don't get on those roads with like no gas sort of situation. So Alma was always like the last place that you'd stop and get gas before moving forward to Fayetteville on
Yeah.
your way home from college. Yeah.
Mm,
Which was about 4 hours from like I went to college about 4 hours from where I lived.
mm.
Not like that long Savannah drive you had.
No, like 17 hours.
Yes. Bitch got out of there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, Blake, if you want to tell people where they can continue to find us, if they're interested after this uplifting story.
I'll tell you just where to go. You can go to YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. You can also follow us on social media at The Forbidden Pod on Instagram and Facebook. You can check out the archives on theforbiddenpod.com.
I was checking out some of those archives the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten about some. Those are some pretty rough cuts, some of them.
I'm sure they are.
I was almost like, oh no, but it's getting better, folks, I swear.
For a good time, check out. Um, and then, as always, if you have ideas, our last episode that I covered was a write in. We'd love to hear from you at
Yeah.
hello@theforbiddenpod.com. Send attachments, send nudes.
Yeah.
We're curious. We want
Even
to know more
better.
about you,
Yes.
every bit of you.
Yes.
Um, I think we covered it all.
I think we did. Well, Blake, thank you so much for listening to that uplifting story of mine.
Thank you for that story of yours.
And listeners, we thank
Thank
you. More missing people.